Michigan football spring practice is going on, and the Michigan Wolverine fans have some good news to be excited about as coaches have been speaking. The practice has been seen by some, and things are going on to where people are reporting some nice stuff about the Michigan Wolverines in spring practice. As it turns out, if you have a coach who's not, messaging OnlyFans models and stuff like that during halftime, your programs run much better. I mean, Michigan fans knew that. They just didn't know exactly what was going on at halftime. So, whole lot more confidence in this program, whole lot more confidence in this coaching staff. Jason Beck and Jay Hill are really good coordinators, proving themselves out there at Utah and BYU. Really good coordinators that I think are going to do a good job this season. And Jason Beck actually spoke to the media, I believe it was Tuesday evening, and Trent Knoop put out some information from that about how Michigan's rushing offense looks to take the next step under Jason Beck, which is rather interesting if you're a Michigan fan, because you're looking at the situation and saying, hold on, our rushing offense was already really awesome. How could it get much better? Well, here's what Jason Beck had to say. He said, quote, "A lot of things go into that," end quote, talking about how the offense could get better, a success with the ground game. Quote, "A couple of the main highlight bullet points. It was really good quarterback play, drives a lot of that. A staff that the majority of the guys know the system, so we're able to kind of come in and really get rolling, installing it and teaching it fast, which was able to do here as well." Continues on. "And then our whole thing is just to try and build it around player strengths. So we really want to find the strengths of the offense and build it around them to let them play at their best when game day hits," end quote. Now, players playing to their strengths, players doing what is best for them, essentially not best for them as like selfishly, but like best for what they excel at and things like that. This is all music to Michigan fans' ears, and you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, that's how a well-coached team happens. Well, Grace, granted, it's not always been a well-coached team the past 2 years at Michigan, but the points that Jason Beck is making here that are just really, really promising for Michigan fans is, how much the quarterback play can really improve the running game overall. And you need to see more of that. Seemed like last year Michigan tried to make Bryce Underwood a little bit of a pocket passer at times, and that just didn't work for him. You saw when in those two games when Biff Poggi was the head coach, he let Bryce Underwood run and be a little bit more creative. And you saw, the offense be better in those two games, Central Michigan and the Nebraska games. You saw him, have some more freedom and do some more things. Now, do you really want to give the freshman that freedom all season long? No, probably not. But you might give the sophomore that much freedom a little bit later on, because he has some more freedom to be a run threat, make some plays out there, give him some more decision making as well. Give him some triple options, some RPOs, things like that. If you are able to throw the ball better, you're going to get some lighter boxes. Here at the end, we're going to talk about a wide receiver that's kind of developing that could be a huge option to help make that happen, and be a matchup to where if the opponent isn't trying to do a lighter box, they might get into a situation where they have to put a linebacker on a wide receiver or something like that. So, I mean, Bryce Underwood, he tried to continue to get his deep ball to be better. And while it did improve by the end of the year, it was probably not where it should have been at the end of the year because of the lack of QB development that happened last season. You're not going to see that this season with Jason Beck. You're not going to see that under Kyle Whittingham. Yes, Kyle Whittingham has not had, a QB drafted or anything like that, but he's also not had Jason Beck as his offensive coordinator. Jason Beck is a really good offensive coordinator, did a really good job with Devin Dempierre last season. I think you're only going to continue to see that happen more and more. And also play action. I mean, this is a huge factor for Michigan, a huge factor for what has made them great on offense before, and it should do that as well. We'll get back to the offense here in just a second, but we did have some good news about the defensive line as well, as John Henry Daly, the big time transfer coming from Utah over to Michigan, the edge rusher. He's actually missing spring with an Achilles injury that he is still recovering from. So still something that he needs to get over. Not get over. It sounds like he's like not actually hurt, but he needs to heal up from there. But there were some very good things said about Daly, because there was some concern of, okay, well, can he get back to form? And yes, the answer is yes. Essentially, Jay Hill was asked And Jay Hill had this to say, the defense coordinator from Michigan had this to say, quote, some guys just have it, the it factor on how to get home, how to get after the quarterback, Hill said. Continue on. He says he's got the it factor. Sometimes you don't even know why he's getting after the quarterback, but he is. He'll make a move that somebody else will do the same thing and gets home, and the other guys don't. He's just got the true knack to get home, end quote there. This is music to every Michigan fan's ears, because if you're going to be a dominant defense in the Big Ten, if you're going to be a dominant defense at Michigan, you have to have the defensive line to make that happen. Now, it's not just John Henry Daly, right? John Henry Daly is a huge piece of this, but for Jay Hill to aspire that kind of confidence into John Henry Daly is huge, especially with some other guys that you probably could have some confidence in next year as well, right? Trey Pierce is looking more and more like a captain. I believe he was voted a captain this spring, which is huge for them. Started all 13 games in 2025 in the interior of that defensive line, so he's going to be huge for that. Etta, he entered into the transfer portal. He's coming back. Those look to be your two interior guys. It sounds like there's some promising stuff coming out of spring camp with Trey Pierce and stuff. And then you've also got some other edge rushers that have some opportunity as well. You have the true freshman Carter Meadows that's coming in, but it doesn't sound like you have to rely on Carter Meadows. You got Cameron Brandt, the senior, coming back, who is strong in the run defense. You have Dominic Nichols, who had 5.5 tackles for loss last season, recorded 19 tackles for you, had a bit of a breakout season last season. He's projected to have an increased role in the rotation this year. And then Nate Marshall, a top recruit in the 2025 class, looked to be getting his first real reps this season as well. You are deep. You have some good depth on that defensive line. Are we saying it's going to be Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant or anything like that? No, nobody should be saying that right now. But could it happen? Maybe. Jay Hill is a really good defensive coordinator. He knows what he has, and he knows how to utilize his guys for those strengths. We'll see what happens with Michigan, but this is fantastic news on the defensive line for a Michigan team that is helping, get the secondary more in order. Rod Moore, guys like that coming back. But the linebacker position, having a little bit of concern with some youth back there. If the defensive line can be really strong, especially with John Henry Daly coming back from injury healthy, that's going to be a huge piece to help this defense next season. And then finally, we'll go back to the offense for that wide receiver role that I was talking about. That's going to be one that could help Bryce Underwood quite a bit. JJ Buchanan, Jason Beck was talking a little bit about his role that people might see this season. Now at Utah, Buchanan was more of a tight end, utilized in that way. And there was some thought that maybe he'd be more of a tight end when he comes over to Michigan. But Beck is talking about him being more of a wide receiver. And I think a lot of people knew he would probably be a wide receiver for Michigan, but we're now getting that confirmation that looks like to be where he will be. But in short, as the article says here, he's going to be everywhere. He's not just going to be a tight end. He's not just going to be a wide receiver. They'll probably recognize him more as a wide receiver, but that doesn't mean he's not going to line up on the line. That doesn't mean he's not going to line up as a threat off, in the slot or something like that. The nice thing about JJ Buchanan is you're going to be able to utilize him over the middle a whole lot more, which is going to get those linebackers to go back even more. You're going to be able to utilize him short slant passes over the middle because of his size, 6'3", 225. He's going to have more of that ability to go over the middle, and some of those deep targets kind of hitting those crossing patterns over the middle. And then also because of his ability to run those short slants and stuff like that, he is going to contribute to that conflict you put the defense in with the RPOs. So with the best thing about this Michigan offense right now is you have all the pieces in place to do what Jason Beck wants to do. Now you just have to get Bryce Underwood ready for it. Get Bryce Underwood ready with the decision-making and everything else out there. He's seen defenses. Maybe he didn't have the best coaching last season. Obviously, he didn't have the best coaching last season, but he's seen defenses. He's played in the college game. He knows what to expect. And even though it is a new defense or new offense for him, they just went through this with Devin Dempierre last year. And Devin Dempierre had 25, passing touchdowns. That's more than Michigan's had in a while. So Really good stuff there, and JJ Buchanan looks to be a pretty big threat for this team. Physical in the run game as well as a blocker. You got to have a good slot receiver blocker, and if they're going to line up Buchanan there in the slot a little bit here and there, he could be a really strong blocker for you, especially if he gets lined up on some of these nickels and guys like that. He has the agility to be able to block them, but also the size to be able to pancake them and stuff like that. So if you're a Michigan fan, you are ecstatic about some of the news, some of the buzz coming out of spring practice here for the Michigan Wolverines. It's a lot of good information. It's a lot of good stuff. And I'm sure Michigan fans are very excited to see what all of this looks like for them.